valuable, but they're kind of useful for the planting schedule. You can plant them in the fall, harvest them in the spring, sell them in November, or harvest them the following fall. And they sell very early, so they're a good crop if you want some money in time for winter to buy some fields with. But, as I said, they're not too valuable. They're not too what's the word for it? Dense. So you don't get many litres of crop. Oh, one thing I was thinking about doing is putting down some beehives around these fields. That's probably not going to make the turn there. Wooden posts in the hedges are a pain in the butt. And for those who missed it last week, I have closed off the corner access to the road here. Primarily because, to be fair, we have access from the yard, so I really don't need a road access on this field. When we harvest this field, we're going to take the grain straight to the silos, which is, exit over by the Land Rover. The harvester, it's just easier to come in. That's a nice big patch of ground there where we can park the header trailer, attach it to the harvester. We could have a much bigger harvester there, and there is a lot of manoeuvring room there, which some of our fields just don't give us. How's the harvester's full again. Okay, I will complete this circuit. And then I will run over to the John Deere and unload the harvester again. Hopefully we get the edge of the field and we miss the trees, because that's just a plainly awesome plan. Oh, now what I haven't done, I haven't checked what the thing is on that field. Environmental score now that we're harvesting. Soybeans could really mess up environmental score because they don't care about nitrogen or anything else. Okay, gonna stop that there. And again, you're facing the wrong way. I'm sort of predicting that this might be exactly the right size trailer for soybeans in this field. Just a thought. Okay. Because the trailer is 27% capacity of the harvester, so it's not quite 4 full unloads. Okay, what was I going to check? I was going to check the environmental score in this field. Hello. Yoo-hoo. Ah, there we go. No, it's not that one. It's 51. 51. It's 100. That's awesome. So we just put soybeans in there. The ground is what it is. The pH value, which is nitrogen, is okay. No, the pH value is lime. We should probably lease a lime spreader. That was something I was hoping we didn't necessarily have to do, but looks like that's going to be a thing. And if we're going to be liming, I should probably check the other fields and see how close they are to needing lime. I want to put that back on a worker. So there'll be a run out to each of the fields to check on that. Turn that on and go drive. That's so confusing. The joystick control for the boom is completely the opposite of what I expect it to be based on front loader work and stuff. It kind of makes sense in isolation, but with everything else you use, not quite so much. Okay, so we're getting good spread here. That field is going to need manure. Quite a lot of it. Now, fortunately, we've got a lot of manure. I would like to get a manure truck. Oh, Cameo, welcome, good morning. And yes, it's Saturday again. Second Saturday in January. Which means... I don't know what that means. It means things. But anyway, let's get the spraying done. I guess the question is, do I really care about doing the weeds now? We could do the weeds tomorrow. That would free up the doits for something. But yes, stuff I'd like: a roller, a manure spreader, a normal spreader to spread lime with, and more land. And I'm sort of reaching the point of, do I want to buy some of this equipment now? Or do I want to wait for it to come up in a sale? As with many things, if I wait for it to come up in a sale, I'm taking a chance at what we end up with. Although for a roller we could end up with a bigger one, which would be nice. But yeah, you end up with not necessarily something you want. I still think I need a bigger seeder as well at some point. We can get away with what we have now, but over time we do want to make one, get a bigger one. Just because then we can do stuff faster. But with what we're doing here, I don't have time. I can't spare the John Deere at the moment. I suppose the advantage with getting a smaller tractor for this work does mean that it's cheaper to run, especially if it's newer, like not 133 hours and 60 months old or whatever. And in the past I have used Massey Ferguson 5S or 5 series for this sort of task, or a Valtra G. So they're quite low horsepower. Although I'm thinking maybe something up at the 120 horsepower, 180 horsepower would give us a little bit more range. The Arian, Class Arian would be a suitable small tractor. The what's the other one up that way? The Valtra N could be a good tractor as well. I think I'd like to try and get an Arian just because we usually run a class. It's something I do like running on the farm. But it's not the 940 which we've featured way too often, in my mind. Alrighty. Now we've just got the bits at the end to do. Not sure how much of this needs done. Just need to keep the boom away from the road, or the hedge by the road. That's that bit done. Of course, the advantage with waiting on weeding, obviously if I do the weeding this month, it's not going to grow anymore till November, October, the next month after September. But it will be more visible because there'll be flowers on it if I wait that long. Come on, tractor, you can do this. But then lime work we could do with this tractor. It's and in a bigger lime spreader. We usually only get the single wheeled one. We could get the dual, the big one. Because that's the other thing it would probably be nice to put our hands on is a lime supply point, which was something in 19, is not something native in 22, but I'm sure someone has created a lime cell point at some point for 22. Okay, that's done. Let's fold that away. Go do the grass field. How's the harvester doing? 82%, and can't see something. Oh, and pay attention. I did miss some of the ends here. But it is what it is. Looks like the harvester will be turning around and going back. Now you can see grass doesn't need a huge nitrogen content here, but it's notably short at this stage. Hopefully that worked. And I'm just going to take the GPS run along the end here. I should shift it to the right a little bit because we're missing along the track. I think if I go round the field once, that'll sort itself out. I do want to buy that grass field up in front of us, although that grass field is good for a £24,000 injection of cash from doing a contract and then selling the bales as well, or feeding the bales to my cows. So I'm kind of torn on that one. Yeah. Oh, has a full grain tank. Well, shucks. Let's. No. And I now said I didn't want to use the silos on this farm quite so much, but they're closer to the sell points, so it sort of makes sense to use them. Okay, this will give me a full trailer. Maybe. Of course, the thing I wasn't considering was what's the weight of soybeans? Fine, 30,000 litres, good. Good enough for me. So I think once I've tipped this in the yard, we'll probably stay with this down in the yard, because the harvester's going to have to come back this way to get to the other place where we're harvesting and where it lives. I'm going to jump out here. Oops. So the option we now have is to upgrade. That's cheap. And that would double our. So if we go down to what we're producing, 24, 1, 1, 64, 48, if we upgrade this, which I can afford to do, it's still using the same amount of production, but it's now 103 instead of 48. And I think the production obviously goes up because of that. I didn't pay attention to what that was. But anyway, so we are now producing twice the amount of tomatoes a month. And I could up that to 3 or 4 times, and I'm stuck in here. There we go. So we should end up with about 12,000 litres of tomatoes rather than 6. No, those are only 500 litre boxes. So I'll end up with 6,000 litres tomatoes rather than 3. Okay, going to take this over here so it's convenient enough for the harvester to unload into. If I angle it, actually, let's stick it in the shed for a minute. I think the hydraulic seals are leaking on the tipper. We should probably take care of them. Oh yeah, a couple of rubber seals and that should be back in service very shortly. Meanwhile, that thinks it's done. the strip along the top here. Another 5,000 litres, so what, 35,000 litres of soybeans on this? That's not bad. Considering the relative density of soybeans. And then we're going to have significantly less canola this year. I think what I can do, we'll drop the header off, take this down to the yard, and I'll get back in the sprayer and finish the first lap and then set that up on a worker while we transfer all the harvesting kit over to the other farm. We can set the worker off doing the canola there, and again I'll probably have to make a lap in order to let the worker do its thing. Alright. And back away. And that's how the professionals do it. He says, taking out the Land Rover, and why not? So fortunately weeds, don't grow on grass fields, so that's a benefit. I think once we finish the fertilizer spraying, oh, I need a lime spreader. Just need so much stuff. I mean, I could go and get myself a self-propelled lime spreader if there is one. Honestly, don't know. Self-propelled sprayers we don't have. That doesn't do. It'll never tell me. Yeah, liquid fertilizer and stuff. Those are digestate and slurry. Yeah, not happening. So the only lime spreaders I have available right now are that one that does lime, that one that does lime, and that one that does lime, but is only 3,900 unless I go to stupid capacity. That's 78,000, that's 45,000. I can buy one of those. Kind of prefer to wait till it's used. This over here ready for transfer. Okay. I've still got your engine running, we'll turn that off. And then we're back over here. The engine is still running and the sprayer is back on. So, we get the grass. Well, we'll do a lap on the grass. Then I'll set the worker off and we can transfer all the harvesting equipment. Once the harvester is started on the canola, I think I can then start considering hitching up the manure tank to this thing, or the slurry spreader to this, and we'll get that started. Then what? Then, yeah. Oh, but lime. Yeah. I think because this is the tractor I have available, I'm going to have to take the smaller lime spreader. But we shouldn't need too much lime because the fields we will be spreading lime on aren't particularly low level. You know, they're not zero pH. They do have an okay pH, and we'll be able to bring that back up, like we're doing with the fertilizer here. We started with 2,000 litres. I'm just getting to 700 litres used on 3 fields, and they're not the smallest of fields. So efficiencies do start stepping in with precision farming as you progress. I mean, obviously you buy a new field and it is a complete mess. And also because we're spreading manure and we have so much of it. But still. As I said, as soon as I get to the end of here, we'll turn the GPS off. And then probably that's good enough. Swing that up there. And again, just using the right boom to extend that out a little bit from the edge of the field. Should be, I think that's probably good enough. Off goes the worker. So yay for that. Okay, this field. pH is appalling, nitrogen is okay, but we don't have anything in the field, so I need lime. Check this field while we're here. We have medium weeds in here that need a hoe. It also needs rolling, but I don't have one. But everything else, nitrogen and pH is perfect. I'm going to jump out this next field. I think I'll just do an audit of the fields as we drive by. Oh, of course the X. So this is perfect. It's good. The pH is down by 0.25, which is one harvest's worth, I think. With grass fields, if you want the pH good, you have to lime them at least once per year, which is one of the reasons I would like to get myself a lime spreader on the roster, just so that we can do that without having to lease one in the middle of the year and then lease one at the end of the year when we find out arable fields also need some work. Pull this up here. Come on. For some reason my keyboard is playing silly games. So this, again, perfect medium weeds. Okay, if you're not gonna jump in and out, I'll beam. So that's all the arable fields I've looked at so far. Canola fields are good except for the weeds, and they haven't been rolled. I got a barley field just to our left.